This is that one song that you heard so many times, and every time you hear it, you're like, I'm not gonna bump to this song. But then you start catching a vibe. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know. Yeah. Whoa. East Coast with that gang, gang. You know we don't play games. Whoa. Hop up on that wagon. Oh, please just get out the way. You know we stay stuntin'. Right up in your face. We sorry, not sorry. We just stuck up in our ways. West Coast gon' head stand up. Put that glass and hands up. Gang, 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 we famed up. Got that change, we bagged up. Crew love, we stay manned up. Ahem like I'm wheezy, yeah. Rap game just too easy. Drip so sick, I'm queasy. Whoa. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, gang, gang. Yeah. Watch me finesse, walk to the line. Good versus evil, God in his prime. Always in prime, always on time. Our time to shine, wifey is fine. I'm doing fine, glad that you asked. God fill me up, mud in my glass. God clean me up, all that I ask. Wherever you headed there fast. I am ahead, you are in last. Last time I checked, you were all gas. Gas in the whip it up fast. Fast and all furious, I'm starting to spaz. Getting all curious, you put me on blast. Blasting that Darius, kids in the back. Back to the future is black. Black like T'Challa, Wakanda attack. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, gang.
He's heating up!
You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang. East Coast with the gang, 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 gang. West Coast with the gang, 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 gang. Lower with the gang, 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 gang. You know we don't play gang, gang, gang.
The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
How to be a better ally to fat people.
Listen to a fat person for once in your life.
How dare you?
Thin privilege.
I'm a fat.
Fat oppression.
Come on.
Shaming fat people on a daily basis, threatening us with diabetes.
Pizza is a vegetable.
A lot of white allies and accomplices ask.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Hello. Full normal.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing, testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 25 Hundo and Ocho of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and your host. It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. Today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everson K2, flexing on all you beef.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer. The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
I see you, baby. What's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Welcome to 2508. It is the Red, White, and Swole Sunday Fun Day Q and anus.
Because
We're just taking questions today. So make sure you hit the thumbs up wherever you're watching, thedailyswole.com for all the links. If you want to join the Swole fam, head on over to swolenormousx.com. We have a couple things to announce before we get into all the Q&As, but you can start dropping your questions in the comments down below. Hashtag AskPapaSwolio. We got a lot of call-ins today as well. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about what's going on tomorrow. Since today is Sunday, tomorrow's episode is private for members only. It is our Swole Fam Weekly Accountability Meeting at 12 noon Eastern Time. That is 12 noon Eastern Time. That is high noon. Tomorrow, March the 20th. March the 20th. All right. So tomorrow's episode's private. If you are not yet a member, now's the time to join. swolenormousx.com. Don't miss out on that. Also, this past Friday, 2 days ago, we had an overtime segment, the brand new Driving While Gaining. Don't miss out on that. That's available for members. Also, you get so much content when you're a member. All the private live streams, including all the bonus video content like Driving While Gaining Uncensored that doesn't get posted anywhere else because we get fucking Uber banned. So this one in particular, Get on Your Knees for Dylan, is available now inside Swole TV. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out now inside Swole Enormous X, inside Swole TV. Hope you enjoyed it. And those of you that have seen it already, drop in the comments down below what your thoughts were. You like that one? You like that? Anyone have that song in their head all weekend long? I know I did. I couldn't help it. Just keep on singing it. We'll drop the album soon. We'll drop the Papa Swolio Sing soon. All right, we got a Swole card to give away. We will give it away at the end of today's episode. And let's bust the nut open right now. Let's summon the Falcon and drop in the comments, what are you smashing today? Questions, hashtag AskPapaSwolio in the comments. Let's get that party started and let's have a great show. Ooh, I leaned into that. Man. Brings tears to the eyes. Hashtag Swole Privilege, Leo, you raging alcoholic. Ridiculous. Hashtag Swole Privilege. That's a nice card. Swole Privilege, and you'll win today's 2508 card. Drop that in the comments down below. We'll give that away to one lucky beesh or boosh at the end of today's episode. Let's get a little Tainty Man. Very nice. Aww. Tainty Man on the Tainty Cam. He's completely the fuck out. He's completely the fuck out. All right. So questions, come one, come all, hashtag Swole Privilege. We'll give that away. Before we get into the first question, I also wanted to follow up. If you have not yet tried this new release last Monday, this past week, a lot of members have been raving about this class. If you haven't checked it out, brand new Yin for Total Body, number 9 with Rachel. That's available. It's been available all week and will be available forever. Forever. But go and try that. If you've never tried a Yin class, it's a great one to start with. And hopefully you enjoyed it. And make sure when you do the class, make sure you leave a comment below the video. That way we can get some feedback. Hope you enjoyed it. Brand new class from Rachel, Yin for Total Body. Numero 9. Let's kick it off now with a call. Let's take a first call. This one's from Dan. Dan, you are on the Sleazecast.
When is the best time to eat some raw honey because I'm absolutely addicted to it, and I don't want to be eating it all day long. So should I take it before bed or before a workout or in the morning or what? When is the best time to really take some raw honey to eat some?
Well, it's not a supplement. So the concept of like taking it, you're eating it. First off, I would probably, if you have issues with sleep, it's something that you can do maybe like a tablespoon, half an hour or so before bed. That might be something that can ease you into a better, deeper sleep for people that are having sleep issues, waking up in the middle of the night specifically. But of course, there's a lot of other strategies, taking a cold shower an hour or so before bed, meditating, dark lights, dark room, completely pitch black, make sure it's cold, doing some sort of wind down reading, red lights at night, cutting out blue light, no TV, no cell phones and stuff, all these different things. I wouldn't overdo it. The honey, most people have insulin sensitivity or resistance issues. That's where most health problems come from. So I would have it generally maybe around your workout is a good starting point, and then see what works best for you. You don't need to eat a ton of it. It's easy just to overconsume those things, but don't waste, all your consumption on honey. Just don't overdo it. There's no need to overdo it. I would just have it a little bit around your workout. But in terms of at night before bed, I would recommend doing a magnesium supplement. Like magnesium glycinate is great before sleep. But in terms of honey, there's no need to overdo it, but I would keep it around your workout. That's just a general good approach, whether it's before or right after. It's a good thing to do. That's when I usually consume it. Let's see, BK Ski. Can we call you BK? BK Ski, Papa Swolio, what do you recommend for shampoo without the chemicals? I have tallow soap bar, but I don't know what to use for my hair. I would recommend posting up in the Swolenormous Beauty chat. Mama Swolio will give you some breakdowns, but you want to make sure you're getting something without parabens, no phthalates, phthalate-free, paraben-free. You don't want any synthetics or dyes, and preferably no fragrances. So if you look for those things on the labels, those are good protocols and good frameworks. You want to make sure you don't have a lot of those synthetic scents and things like that come from those forever chemicals and phthalates and things that can interrupt your endocrine system. We have some of those shampoos in there. I just don't remember the names of them. She's the expert, so she takes care of all like the face creams and oils and beard oils, and she gets them from a friend of hers that has a company. So we get good stuff. But you can always, in terms of beard oils, just going off on like hair stuff, you could just use things like jojoba oil is something I prefer in terms of a moisturizer on my body or hair, skin. That's fantastic. But in terms of a shampoo, you want to make sure you're getting a product that doesn't have those synthetics and fragrances and things in them. Amanda, and some of these companies they use essential oils, which is a much better approach. You're going to pay probably a little bit more for those types of products because they don't have the same type of stabilizers and cheap products and cheap ingredients. Okay, let's see. Amanda, and I'm sure there's also, I don't do them, but I'm sure there's also those natural homeopathic approaches. Someone just said, Lori, you can wash your hair with olive oil and eggs, grandma recipe. I mean, those things work. I'm not sure exactly. I've never tried that before. Amanda, Papa Soy, I want to start with club work. All right, club work, fam. How many? I just did some club this morning. I woke up and I went right outside and I did several laps of reverse sled pulls, and then I did 20 minutes of some steel club swinging. Great way to start the day. I want to start with club work. I lift heavy and have great cardio health. Just want to try something new for warm-ups or recovery days. What weight should I start with? I would start with no more than 5 pounds, maybe less, maybe 3 pounds or 2 pounds, 4 pounds. There's different clubs of that size. If you're going to do a steel club, once you get super light, it starts becoming, they're plastic clubs. So if you have access to wood clubs or you're going to purchase wood clubs, you want to start with a lighter club because the wood is less dense. So it's going to be a larger club. There's more torque. But I would recommend if you're doing a steel club, no more than 5 pounds. You might even want to start less. You say you lift heavy, so 5 pounds. Don't forget, it's going to be heavy. And you want to do very high repetitions. You want to build up to it probably every other day and then build up to it every day. But clubs are great. You don't want to start with anything more than probably 5 pounds, male or female. That's the limit where everyone should start with, in my opinion. And a lot of people say to lift heavy, but when you swing a club, it's completely different than lifting weights. It doesn't sound heavy, but it is. Everyone else can drop your thoughts in the comments. A lot of people have not listened to my advice when I told them start with 5 and they start with 10 and they like overdid it and they hurt their elbows. And I'm like, I told you, don't start with 10 pounds. No one should start with 10 pounds. I don't care how strong you are. When it comes to a steel club, when it comes to a wood club, because they're less dense, you're going to get a much bigger club for the weight. So if you're getting wood clubs, you only want to start with like 1 pound, 600 grams or so. For clubs, 1.2 pounds. You start really light. Depends on what kind of clubs you get. There's all different shapes and this, that, and the other. Yeah, good to know. I would have gotten 10 pounds way too heavy. Yeah, way too heavy. Way too heavy. You might even want to start lighter, I'm telling you. Because some of these clubs, whether it's a 2 pound or a 3 pound, it sounds like nothing. But remember, you don't have the coordination and it's a lot of torque. And this targets your tendons and ligaments on these small joints in your wrist, in your hand. So you're better off starting honestly with 2 pounds and then mastering it. Oh, that's really light. And then moving up to 3, 4, or 5 pounds. So if you can get a single individual, I would recommend getting something lighter. Even if it's lighter than you really need, I would master that. It's the coordination, because you make a little tiny mistake or you have a little bit off in terms of the coordination with a 5 pounder, it's going to exponentially magnify the risk. So I would recommend getting, 2 pounds, and it's going to seem light. It's like a plastic composite, but I would get that and then get the 2 pounds and then get a heavier one, whether it's 4. They make steel 4 pounds, they're just very thin, or 5. So get a lighter one and then get a heavier one. That way, when you practice with a lighter one, you have some context, like, oh, this is the weight, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm heading. And then once you have the coordination, you could do some reps with the heavier one. You just want to build up a lot of repetition. So what I like to do is do underhand circles and overhand circles, and I switch. I do right underhand, left underhand, right overhand, left overhand, and I just switch every 10, 15 repetitions or 20, 30 seconds. I'll do it for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It's like an upper body cardio endurance, but it's just great. You could do that regularly, but if you're doing it regularly, you want to do very light and do a ton of repetitions, a lot of repetitions. Okay, Fahad, you're on the sleaze.
How can I fix my posture through gym? I have lumbar lordosis or whatever it's called, like the backbone thing.
Whoa, holy shit. How do I fix my posture with gym? Super vague. I would recommend, what am I going to say? How do I answer that question? It goes hard to hear you. You spoke really fast and mumbled. But posture is, mobility practice is very important. Inside Swolenormous X, we have the masterclass section. So anyone that's listening that's a member, ankle, knee, hip mobility masterclasses, very important for the lower back. There's a lot of great exercises, Jefferson curls. There's a lot of great glute activation exercises. Even using hyperextension machines are great for the lower back. Yoga is fantastic. It's a constant practice. So mobility should be done. Mobility is different than yoga. So it's very important to do both. And I would recommend joining us inside Swolenormous X. That way you have the tools. It's very hard to just give you random shit on a podcast, because a vague question, it's very general. And that kind of stuff is very specific to what you need as an individual. But yoga is a great place to start, but the mobility is different than yoga. And that's with resistance, that's with weights through a full range of motion. And most people don't practice mobility. Even those that do yoga usually don't do enough mobility, which is, very light weights, full range of motion, and it really strengthens the tendons and the ligaments, which is going to help you for strength. Mobility is strength training. So mobility is not stretching. Mobility is not doing a little dynamic warm-up. That's not mobility. Mobility is strength training. And when you improve your mobility and things like grip strength, you fill in those weaknesses and you're able to lift heavier, more effectively, recover faster. Because whenever you get hurt, when you're lifting heavy, if you're lifting heavy weights, when do you normally get hurt? Or where do you normally get hurt? If you're doing chest exercises, what the fuck is with this camera? If you're doing chest exercises, you don't usually hurt your chest. You either tear your bicep or you hurt your shoulder or rotator cuff muscle. You don't really hurt the pec. You don't destroy your pec unless you're taking a lot of juice and your muscle just rips right off the bone. But usually you don't tear a pec. You injure your shoulder. You injure your rotator cuff muscle. Not even a deltoid. You injure your bicep tendon, or you injure your supraspinatus, or you have some sort of impingement. So that's you, or you have elbow tendonitis. It's usually those weaker links. It's not the actual larger, like you don't hurt your glute. You never hear of people injuring their glute. They have sciatic issues, or they hurt their hip, or they injured something, their quadratus lumborum, or they have some sort of imbalance there or an impingement. They usually don't tear their glute off. Jesus Christ, that would be so painful. All right, hashtag Swole Privilege, and we'll take some more questions. Hashtag Swole Privilege, drop in the comments below. We'll give it away at the end of today's episode. Let's see. Carson, Papa Swole, how much did that club in today's Insta-Reel weigh? That thing's a beast. Swole Privilege. I have to look at the video that you're referring to. I don't know. I have to look. On Instagram? What it looked like? We post a lot of videos. I'd have to actually look. What would the club look like? And then the girth one. What would the club look like? They're all girthy. Uncle John, Papa, if you had to get a tattoo of a steak. Okay. First off, how many steak tattoos? Do you have a steak tattoo? I'm about to make fun of people that would ever get a steak tattoo. So if you have a steak tattoo, drop in the comments. I respect it. Would not need a tattoo. If you had to get a tattoo. So let me break down your question, Uncle John. Under what circumstance or situation would I be forced? All right, you have to get a steak tattoo. Think about what kind of situation I would have to be in to be forced to get a steak tattoo. Would I go with a tomahawk, a ribeye, or a porterhouse? I mean, it's kind of the same thing. A tomahawk and a ribeye. It's a tomahawk ribeye. You know, it's just with the bone. I wouldn't get a porterhouse. I mean, a ribeye, but a tomahawk, probably a tomahawk. That would probably look cooler as a tattoo. Right? Just get that on my shoulder. Get like the meat and then the bone goes down the arm. It's a strange thing to be forced to get. Oh, that video? Oh, so the one that looks like Lizzo's butt plug? Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's that one weighs 10 kilograms, so that's 22 pounds. Yeah, the Lizzo butt plug one. Yeah, that's it. There you go. The one with the Idumbin, the one with the 3 balls. Okay, Vlada Whale, Papa Swolio, is it even remotely true that some core exercises can make you look wide in the waist? My friends told me to avoid stuff like Russian twists, but from personal experience, it didn't do anything. Russian twists, you're not going to get thick in the waist. Russian twists, what, like just like twisting? Most people don't even do those properly. That's kind of a wasted exercise. People just sitting there with the ball tapping. They move their hands, but they're not really rotating their waist. I kind of hate those abdominal exercises. They're a waste of time. It's a little bit more, you see people that do MMA and stuff, like, because they're twisting. That's a different function. But for people that are trying to get abs, they just kind of twist. I kind of think it's a stupid fucking exercise. But a lot of people just move their hands and they tap the ground and they're just moving their arms and not moving their waist. There's better exercises to do. So you have to do a lot of resistance. Doing crunches or doing those kinds of movements, you're not going to get a thick waist. You're not going to get a thick waist unless you're doing like heavy macro loading exercises, like heavy deadlifts all the time and heavy squats. Like that might thicken your waist a little bit. But it's very hard to get a thicker waist. It's hard to get a thicker waist muscularly, like to get like the obliques like that. And it's really more genetic, like your hip width, like your bone structure. And I don't mean like some people have like, different, setups with their hips and different ratios. Most people are pretty close to the same, but yeah, you're not going to get a thick waist from Russian twists. So, I mean, remotely true. Any muscle can hypertrophy. But I think most people are getting a little bit too in the weeds when they think, oh, if I do this exercise, I'm going to get thick. Right? Or women that say, well, I want to lift weights, but I don't want to get big like you. It's like most people aren't going to get big. Like most people aren't going to build much muscle. Most people aren't going to do anything that will actually result in them making progress. They don't do it consistently enough or hard enough. And people think it's so easy to build muscle. Usually what's happening is they're getting inflammation and they have a lot of fat on top. So they feel thicker because they're actually not eating better. They haven't stuck with it long enough to actually metabolize more fat. It takes time. So people usually just kind of push their fat further out and they think they're getting thicker, building a ton of muscle when it's just water retention and your body not doing that long enough in order to actually make systemic changes in terms of metabolizing more fat over time. Just build muscle. Focus on building muscle and you'll get leaner over time if you eat properly. DW, been working on mobility and strengthening my posterior chain, but pulled something in my back benching 4 days ago. You pulled something in your back benching. Well, that shouldn't be happening. I'm stiff and it's hard to move. Is there anything I can do now while I recover? Depending on what's going on, practice yoga or yin yoga, something like that. You know, at your own discretion. I couldn't tell you exactly what's going on, but why would you pull something in your back benching? Are you arching too much? Been working on mobility and strengthening my posterior chain. So the problem is maybe you weren't doing it properly with the mobility. You might have been compromised and then injured it. So when you're practicing mobility, if you're doing mobility properly, it's strength training. It's strength training. You're really targeting weaker muscles and end ranges of motion. So if those muscles are compromised, those stabilizers are compromised when you're doing strength training, maybe they were already fatigued from a previous mobility workout and then you kind of overdid it, right? So maybe structuring your mobility a little bit differently or doing less volume more frequently might be better for you rather than doing it really hard and then doing a chest day or something. You see what I'm saying? If you do that kind of stabilizer work, your stabilizers, they're still muscles. They need to recover. Stabilizers can hypertrophy. They can get stronger. They just don't get as big and they're more active all the time rather than maybe your pectoralis major. You're not always like, working your pecs. They just kind of sit there, right? But you're always using your rotator cuff muscles. You're not always using your deltoids to that extent, but your rotator cuff is stabilizing the humerus in the shoulder joint. So you're always using your rotator cuff. So these stabilizers need more repetitions, lighter weight, more frequency. Something to keep in mind. Saying, got a new Glock 34 yesterday. Do you dabble with pews? I do. I'm not familiar with the Glock 34 in particular. But nice. Nice. I never really liked the way the Glocks feel. This feels so, I don't know, they feel kind of cheesy. I don't mean that like they don't function well. They're very reliable, but they didn't fit I guess I would have to, if I got one, I would have to get some custom grip work done. They just don't fit my hand the way the stock as well as other models. If anything, I would get like a Glock 19 or something like that for conceal, but I'm not familiar with the 34 though. Very nice though. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see here. Let's take another call. Francisco. Francisco. You're on the line. Yeah, try yin yoga. Good for you. Okay.
Hey, Papa Swolio, my brother, he works on construction and he comes home tired and late most of the time. I just want to ask do you have any tips for him on how he can still go to the gym?
Go first. Go first. I know construction starts early, but you can go first. Here's the thing. If you have a laborious job, a lot of times it starts really early, but he's not going to do it after work. So you could do yoga after work, but I would go first. Go first. I mean, you have to be at work at 7 or 6. It's like, go to the gym at 4. I know it's like, oh my God, you're going to be tired all day. Not really. You're actually going to have energy. You're going to feel good. Your muscles are going to be tight and activated. You're going to feel great all day. Takes a lot of discipline, but if you have a physical job, do training first will change your life. Carson, 90% of accidental discharges are Glocks during cleaning. Well, that's just because people aren't handling their weapons properly. Clear the chamber. Like if you're firing, you just don't know what you're doing. You're talking about like most accidents are because people aren't paying attention or they don't have a good protocol or they don't do it enough. They don't clean their weapons enough and they don't have that system in place. That's silly. That's ridiculous. Clear the fucking chamber. Look through. Don't assume, it's always loaded. Fucking standard. Yeah, that's... But it's also most people or many people have Glocks, so. Yep, Glocks are like Honda Civics, exactly. They're reliable, but aren't meant to be stock. Yep, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I just haven't you know, a lot of the ones that I have, because I haven't really gone through hardcore customization. But that's something that was on. I just like having different variety, but if anything, I would pick up. Let's see. Yeah, it's stupid. All right. So we said train first. I thought there was another question somewhere in the middle here. Maybe I thought I saw something I didn't. All right, let's take another call. Remember, hashtag AskPapaSwolio for the live chat. And if you want to submit a question, askpapaswolio.com. That's where all these calls are coming from. Jazz Nicole. Jazz, here we go.
What is the best arm workout for tightening the skin, but not so much gaining muscle, if that makes sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Thank you for the call. It doesn't make any sense. And not to be insulting, but it doesn't make any sense. You're not going to tighten the skin and not build muscle. Like that doesn't, you're not going to really tighten the skin either. It's not how it works. The skin doesn't tighten like that. There's no answer to that question. And any of these questions where it's like, I want to tone, but I want to build. It's like, look, here's what women want. And I'm not saying all women or people in general. You want to look less fat. You want to have muscle and be lean, right? You want to have muscle and definition. That means building muscle and getting rid of fat over time. That means proper habits over the course of years. You're not going to do an exercise and build, not build muscle, but it's going to it's not shrink wrap. You're just going to shrink everything around your muscles. You need to build muscle. You need to train your muscles. You need to lift heavy, lift hard, and live that lifestyle. And if not, you're not going to get results. Everyone's going to get different results based on the level of effort they put in. And a lot of people underestimate how many habits go into seeing progress over time, which is why a lot of people get frustrated and quit and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's see. Thank you for the call. But yeah, that's not a thing. All right. Jean-Paul. 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 You're on the line.
Hello, Papa.
Hello.
I want to go to the fucking gym, but can you say in French language? S'il vous plaît, merci.
Va où putain de gym? Jean-Paul. All right. Thank you for the call. I thought you just stopped talking. Hello, Papa Swolio. And then just like hung up. All right. Let's see. Vincente. Vincenzo. All right. Vicente. You're on the line.
Papa Swolio, I wanna know if I have 12 years, I need to start gym right now or I will a little time. Saludos from Argentina.
Hey, Argentina. Hey-oh. So do you need to go to the gym now when you're 12? Look, you should be active. Playing sports. Go play soccer. I'm sorry, football. Go climb ropes. Go do pull-ups and push-ups and things like that. You don't have to be crushing in the gym when you're 12. You sounded older than 12. You don't have to be crushing the gym when you're 12. You can learn how to do it properly, but when you're first starting out, when you're young, you don't have to do tons of volume. It's good to learn properly, but very light weights. Don't push to failure. Learn how to do it properly. And then, in a few years, you can start lifting heavier. All right. Thank you for the call. We'll do one more, and then any other live questions, hashtag AskPapaSwolio. We'll jump into a few more. David Iniguez. David.
Could you adopt me as your grandson? Thank you very much, Papa Swolio. Greetings from Mexico.
Would I adopt you? David, welcome to the fam. Welcome to the fam. My son. You have been officially adopted. Now go to the fucking gym. All right, let's take some more questions. We got a comment here. Vlada. Ladies, don't be afraid to build muscle. It's really hard to actually look bulky. Heavy weights will make you look lean. Looking like a massive bodybuilder is impossible to do on accident. 1,000%. And yes, a lot of people are afraid. It's absolutely fear. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to look big. I don't want to look big and, like a man. Women still think that. They think they're going to look like a man. And you won't unless you're taking Anavar or Test. You're not going to look like a man. It's very, 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 very hard to build muscle. Even more so for women. So very challenging, and a lot of women are paranoid. So people want a lot of, this is the thing, people want a lot of results, but then they don't want to, they want a lot of results without the results. Like, I want the end, but I want to build too much muscle. I don't want to do, if you go in with that mindset, you're not going to get results. You have to go in like training like a fucking animal. You do. Anyone that tells you otherwise is ignorant or lying to you. They're just telling you what you want to hear. You're not going to be able to go into building muscle and having tone and shape and a butt and, toned arms without training like a fucking animal. You got to train hard. You're not going to get results in a couple months either. You can see a lot of progress, but you're not going to get all your results in a couple months. It's going to take years. No one wants to hear that, but hey, not in the business of telling people what they want to hear. Saying, Papa Swolio, this is kind of a weird question, but do you have any tips for sore gym feet? Sore gym feet. Why are you getting sore feet? Are you doing things barefoot? Are you doing a lot of footwork? Yeah, you can ice. You can get a tennis ball and roll out your feet. You can get all different types of golf balls, lacrosse balls, tennis balls, roll your feet out. Make sure you're stretching, getting into your soleus, doing ankle dorsiflexion and plantar flexion exercises. Yeah. Feet have muscles. Feet have muscles, and they will fatigue and they will strengthen over time. And same thing with the hand and wrist. If you're doing barefoot stuff, it's just like doing the club stuff. You have a lot of small tendons, ligaments, and joints in your hand, your wrist, your fingers. Same thing with your feet. Same thing with your feet. So you want to make sure that you're building up that strength gradually over time. Good stuff. Let's see the Tainty Man. Very nice.
I give it a
Look at that Tainty boy.
A 10. A fucking 10.
All right, hashtag Swole Privilege for a chance to win today's Swole card. Crush those live, those calls. And let's see. Let's take a couple of Instagram questions. If you have more, drop them in the comments. We'll just take some more questions. Haroldios 07, Papa Soy. How many days of the week should I go to the fucking gym? The answer is yes. If I do calisthenics 5 days of the week. Well, if you're doing, you should be training every day. Doesn't mean you lift heavy every day. If you're just doing body weight every day, I mean, I would do less of that and more gym, more lifting weights. I mean, doing calisthenics is going to the gym. Even if it's outside, you grab a jump rope or you're doing pull-ups and push-ups, that's still training. The question is, what are you trying to accomplish? So anytime someone asks me, hey, Papa Swolio, what do you think about calisthenics? What do you think about this? I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. What do I think about it? It doesn't matter what I think about it. What are you trying to accomplish? Okay, here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, what's your schedule like? What's your experience? Oh, okay. Do these things. That's how it works. How much time are you going to invest in this? What are you willing to do? What your starting point is? What you want the outcome to be? And then let's do this. Because let's say you have a little bit of money, you don't have access to a gym. So you're training in, a space in your room. You have a little tiny room. You want to build muscle, but you want to work on mobility. You want to work on some power. You don't care about putting on a ton of muscle, but you want to work on strength. Then get a couple kettlebells and do kettlebell training. So you see what I'm saying? What are you trying to accomplish? All right. V Patel 2K4, Papa Swolio, what style of lifting do I do? I do 7 pillars. I do mobility training. I practice yoga and Swolga. I do strength training, a lot of strength training. In terms of calisthenics, I do pull-ups and push-ups, and I do jump rope once in a while, but mostly strength training, just standard strength training, but I use different protocols: mace, steel club, kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, bands, a lot of stuff that many people use. So style of lifting, strength bodybuilding with a focus on mobility and, I guess, classic ancient circular training. But 7 pillars, baby. 7 pillars, baby. Let's fucking go. Let's get a little America for the pillars.
I am the danger.
Download your free copy. swolenormousx.com. Check it out, fam. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Tammy says you could soak in hot water with the feet. Sure, you could do a foot soak, and you could put in Epsom salt, and it's very relaxing for the feet. So you could do that. That can soothe the feet. Also, in terms of sore feet, I'm just remembering some other things. You can get a magnesium oil spray, and you could spray it, and you spray on the bottom of your feet and rub it in. That's very good for sore feet. I think 7 Minerals or 7 Naturals or something like that is a good company that has magnesium oil spray. You can find that on Amazon. Let's see. Galardog 1983. Yeah, toe spreaders are good. I don't know about foot soreness particularly, but that's just good for letting the feet adapt and stretch. Let's say Justo. Starting the gym 3 times a week. How long do I have to wait to see results? Jesus Christ. Like these questions, years, months. It's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. So stop focusing on the results. What does that even mean? You're not thinking, you're thinking too short term. You're not really ready to invest your time. Psychologically, you got this backwards. It's going to be it's never, you're never stopping. So you'll make progress. So you got to start thinking about this differently and start making these incremental changes and being consistent as fuck. And you'll see results, but depends on what you mean as results. Like your end goal, never. Okay. Zaid 2503. How should I got these fucking questions. How should I start? I am confused. Every day I think I will go, but then later on I don't. Wow. You don't say. So you fucking go. You think you will go, so stop thinking and actually do it. If you go, you go. If you don't go, you don't go. It's not complicated. So how should you start? Go to swolenormousx.com, download the 7 pillars, read it, listen to it, read the Beyond 7 Pillars ebook, all of it. You get 3 downloads and start there and start going to the gym and start doing a little bit every day. If you want to join the fam, we have all the programs for you. You could Google stuff too, but you need to start going and be consistent. How do I start? Come on, fam. This whole thing, like what, you're going to magically go without, I didn't want to go. I wanted to go, but then I end up not going. Okay, so what the fuck are we talking about here? Either you do it or you don't. It's not, there's no sorcery involved. Garrett Miller, why do you recommend grass-fed steak over, quote, standard steak? Well, grass-fed steak is actually standard steak, and standard steak is cows and animals that are being poisoned with GMOs and corn and soy and fed garbage in order to fatten them up quicker for slaughter. So you're eating an unhealthy, decaying animal rather than an animal that's eating what it's supposed to. So you're eating unhealthy creatures versus healthier creatures. Not to mention nutrient profile. Some people make the argument, well, they're pretty similar, but you also have a lot of stress hormones and other negative byproducts when it comes to the sick animals. So healthier animals, 1,000%, you'll taste the difference. And if not, your taste buds are broken. Jacko 6 C1104. How can I make even more gains?
Keep using the
Bro,
word. I don't know
what you're doing. How do I make more gains? Train harder, eat better, get the basics more, focus on the 7 pillars more. How do I make even more gains? Let me just, I have it. All right. Let's take a live question. Thank you, for God's sake. Thank you, Freddie, for asking a question. Papa Swole, I did an upper body session the day after a lower body one rather than a rest day between. I felt lightheaded even with lighter weights. Was I not recovered enough? Yeah, maybe. Maybe you ate differently or didn't sleep as properly or you weren't breathing properly or you felt lightheaded. I don't know. It could just be low blood sugar or something was different. I don't know if it really had anything to do with your lower body workout the day before, but if it's anything out of your normal routine, if you're used to working out in the afternoon or in the evening, and then all of a sudden you start training first thing in the morning, you're going to feel drained and sluggish. It's a new habit. Your body's not used to it. It doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Your body will adapt to anything you do. If you normally train at 4 a.m., you'll think, how many of you went from evening or whatever training to first thing? And you remember the first initial couple workouts. It was like, you were dragging ass. You kind of woke up and got into it, but you felt like you were half asleep, like, oh, I'm not going to have strength. And then after a while, it's just the standard. So you're just not used to it. Could be dehydration, could be any number of things, dude. Let's see. Mark Evans, Papa Swolio, when would you need to consider using a belt for deadlifting, Papa? That's a great question. A lot of people use belts that probably shouldn't, and a lot of people, I'd say it really depends. A belt doesn't protect you from getting injured. A lot of people put a belt on, thinks it's like a safety. The problem with people using belts and then lifting heavier than they normally would is that people use it as a crutch. They think it's protecting their back, which is not. A belt will allow you to create more force and thoracic, and intra-abdominal pressure against the belt if it's used properly. So I would only use it for maybe sets to absolute, towards failure, or, your max sets, like when you're really pushing it 100%, then it would be appropriate, when you're really pushing it. But for certain exercise, a belt is more of a guide or a cue, like for squats. Tom Platz, used to talk about how a belt for squats, it's not so much for like the support or pushing out against it. It's more to kind of keep your upper body more vertical, psychologically. It's like a cue. So it can move up and down like a piston, but a lot of people don't have the proper ankle mobility. So they're not able to stay more upright, which is why lifting shoes or elevating your heels or using a front squat technique allows you better posture. So that's why ankle mobility is so important. That's why we have the master classes on. So, belts are should only be used, in my opinion, for, sets to failure or your heaviest sets. Vlada, maybe a lack of electrolytes. It could be. There's a lot of reasons why you might be a little lightheaded or dizzy. Let's see. We got one from Ayush Jindal. Papa Swolio, how to convince? Ooh, we got one, fam. We need the Dr. Swole. Everyone, take a seat on the couch, Ayush. How to convince a significant other to work out? Oof. Well, there really is no way to convince someone to work out in that sense. You can encourage them. You can invite them with you. But it really comes down to communication. You have to have this communication with the other person, because if it can be a great way to spend time with the other person. But then a lot of people that are in relationships, they will say, or that you take your training seriously, you don't necessarily want to train with the other person because you might be training really intense. You want to focus on you. It's your personal time. It doesn't mean that you can't train together. You can both go to the gym, or if you're training at home, train at the same time, but maybe not necessarily, separate togetherness. Like you're doing different exercises, but you're going to the gym together. So there's a lot of couples that go to the gym. They don't necessarily spot each other and train each other. They go, and then one person does one thing, and they kind of maybe meet for a certain exercise, or they do legs, and one person's doing squats and this, and then one person goes and does this, the other person does other things. So, you can communicate how it's hard because it's important to you, but working out is a very personal thing, and people need to be inspired organically, like within themselves, and understand why they should be training and kind of find that love and that passion for taking care of themselves within themselves. It's really hard to get someone else to cause themselves pain and discomfort. Training is challenging. So convincing someone, hey, you should put your body through hell, it's a tough one. So lead by example, and, maybe approach it from, hey, let's spend some time together. It'd be fun. Training and supporting one another. But it's a tough one. All right, let's see. I am Rishu 001. How to win arm wrestling? Suggest me exercise for arm wrestling. Okay. Well, I would get into more grip strength training and rotator cuff strengthening, internal and external rotation. That's a great way. I'm no arm wrestling expert. I think Sayan does it, right? There's a lot of great exercises and things you can do. Watch a lot of videos. Just go on YouTube and scour arm wrestling strengthening videos. There's a lot of different grip strength and things for your rotator cuff. And okay, club work is great too. Albert Mudezo. How did you get disciplined to eat well and going to the gym every day? By doing it. You don't just get discipline. You don't go to the store and get discipline. You don't just wake up and be like, I'm going to do this all the time. You forge it. You build those habits. It's just habits. Discipline is habits. Discipline are habits that you don't make excuses for. That's what discipline is. Discipline is doing something that needs to be done regardless of how you feel about it. That's what discipline is. You don't feel like training, but you do it anyway. That's called discipline. So people need to stop going inside your feelings. And again, if you don't feel like going to the gym, okay, you're supposed to not feel like it, but then you do it anyway. That's what discipline is. You're not supposed to feel like it. So enough of the motivation shit for anyone that's thinking or going to call in or like, how do I get motivated? You don't. You're not supposed to be motivated. It has nothing to do with you training. It has nothing to do with it. It's cool if you feel like it. Like, that's a bonus. If you feel like, wow, I feel like going to the gym today, well, that's great. And a lot of you know this. When you feel like training, that's awesome because you feel like it. You want to do it. You're looking forward to it. Whoa, that's going to be, whether or not you hit a PR or not, but a lot of you know this. You might feel like going to the gym. How many of you have a memory or you know what it's like when you feel like going to the gym, you feel like training hard, but your strength just doesn't match your mood? That's a little bit of a bummer. But there's a lot of times when you don't feel like training, you do it anyway, and then you hit a new PR or you have a sick fucking workout and get a nasty pump and you had one of the best workouts ever and you didn't feel like it. So the answer is just to go and do it no matter what. And you'll have good workouts. You'll have okay workouts. You'll have workouts that are like, meh. But more often than not, the more chances you give yourself to go to the gym, the more good workouts you'll have. And you stack together those good workouts over years and years and you get great results. All right. Let's see. Saying Papa Swolio, grip strength workouts and lots of static hold. And that's another thing. What's great about, let's say, grip strength when you talk about doing the clubs, because it's like isometric. It's a lot of static through torque when you're doing the club work. And of course, when you're doing a lot of static holds like resistance for like arm wrestling or things like that, any kind of isometrics and static holds is a lot on the tendons and ligaments, which is really important. So it's not so much the muscular strength, it's the tendon strength. It's all tied in together. But Daniel, how many sets for a body part should I be aiming for during the workout? I usually do around 9 to 12 sets for the day. That's about average or a good ballpark. It depends. There are some more advanced trainers that if you, in my opinion and experience, the more advanced you are, there's a lot of people that think, okay, the more advanced you get, the more weight you do, the more sets you do, the more and more you do. That's actually not true. The more advanced you get when it comes to training and the more muscle you build, in all reality, the less you need to do in terms of, because you can get your intensity so much higher when you're more experienced that you can focus that intensity into less volume, into less sets. So I find that as I've gone through my years, I can funnel more intensity into less volume or less sets and get better results. Of course, that's even better as you get older because your recovery periods decrease or increase. It takes you longer to recover. So doing 40 set fucking workouts, unless you're on steroids, you're not going to recover that quickly. So training now versus 15 or 18 years ago, it takes me longer to recover from a super fucking hard workout. And I don't want to be crippled all week. I want to train more frequently. So doing more intensity, but less overall volume allows me to recover quicker between workouts and still raise my intensity and keep my intensity high. So that's about right. But just make sure that when you're pushing, towards failure. You're really pushing hard, because a lot of times people do what's called junk volume. They just do way too many sets. They just do 30 sets for a fucking workout. But if you're doing that many sets, then are you really getting the most out of each of those sets? Are you really going as heavy as you could be going? Because if you're really pushing it for, let's say, 1 or 2 working sets, for example, like, you're not going to have anything else. How are you doing that many sets at a high capacity? You have to downshift a little bit in order to make it through all that. So why not push harder and do less? Just some different things to think about. Everyone's different. And it also depends on if you're going for strength or you're going for size. So there's volume components, but strength is a component of muscle size, but you can build strength without building a ton of hypertrophy to an extent. So it also depends on what you want the outcome to be. So to increase and to improve hypertrophy, you need a certain amount of volume and blood flow to the muscles and things like that. Mika Ash, Papa Swolio, I am having a real a really hard time finding raw dairy. I live in Ohio. You live in high? You live in a high? Common Ohio L. Do you recommend anything else until I can bribe a farmer to give me some? You can order it online. Go to realmilk.com and look for something in your area. You might be surprised. There's different rules and regulations, so it depends on where you're purchasing from. If a company, you can sell raw milk if you label it as for cats and dogs, and there's some places that you'll see it. It'll be like, hey, it's cat food or dog food. So you can't technically sell it to humans, but you can sell it to people as, and like we get raw dairy and it says like for cats and dogs all over it. I mean, we give it to the dogs, but I pound the fuck out of it. It's just raw dairy. So legally they can't sell it. It's a stupid fucking bullshit. So go to realmilk.com and go to your location and you might be surprised. And if you have to bribe a farmer, quote unquote, just don't talk about it on social media. Some of you in the comments are like, I bribed a farmer too. It's like, you might want to post publicly about bribing. Just saying. I don't think anyone's going to be knocking your door down. Who's getting real milk down here? Not yet. Not yet. Soon, though. Jessica, is there a brand of Therabar that you recommend over others? There's only one Therabar. Like other companies, I don't know what else is out there. I just buy the Therabar ones. Do you mean what color? Like what strength? Just get the Therabar on Amazon. There might be other companies. There's all knockoffs and stuff. I'm sure they're all the same for the most part. They probably all come from the same place in China, and they just put a little different label on it. One says Therabar, one says Therobar. One says Super Bar. I don't know. But when it comes to the Therabar stuff, if you have inflammation currently, you want to start a lot lighter. You want to start very light because you don't want to do the exercise and be aggravating it. You want to be strengthening and releasing pressure around the epicondyles in the elbow. Oh God, fuck yes. Yes, that was good.
Look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there like a little lady.
A speakeasy for the milk. Yeah. You could also Google it. Go online. You can order raw milk online. I don't know to every state. Maybe there's regulations or this thing, but go to realmilk.com. BK Ski, you can get raw dairy from a quote milk club. It's quote part of the membership perks. That's how I get mine. So the reason why you might have to pay you might go to a place and it says, oh, well, the membership is $20 a year. It'll be something inexpensive. The reason is there are some laws that, they say you can't sell raw milk. But if you are a member, by having a membership, you are a part, maybe you have like a 1/100th of 1/10,000th of a share of a cow. So if you have a membership, you're technically part of the community. You're a part owner. It's like a collective. So you're a part owner of the cow and you can technically drink milk from your own cow. So if you're a member, you're sharing the ownership of the animal or the farm, from that aspect. So you can drink milk from your own animal. It's a little loophole, but that's why you might see like a membership or it's $20 a year. It's something small. So that's the reason why you might have a club or a membership. Freddie, Papa Swolio, with wrist wraps, the ones that keep the wrists straight, I only have started using them on top sets for 1 or 2 movements, maybe 1 warm-up set. Is that all good? What do you mean? The ones that keep the wrists straight? Oh, you mean like around your wrist, not the ones that wrap around the bar? Yeah, you could use that. Like that's just a little bit extra support for the joints. I mean, you want to have strong joints, but sometimes for doing like heavy bench press sets, I just use the supports because it gives me a little bit extra for the overload. You can play around with it, see what works best for you if you like it. You just don't want to depend on these things. But I do so much wrist strengthening when I'm doing, so for example, when I'm doing certain exercises for my back or certain movements, you'll hear this kind of thing where, you don't use wraps because it weakens your grip strength. That's bullshit if you're doing grip strengthening. So yes, that's true if you're only, every time I do this exercise, I use wrist wraps and your grip strength is weak and you just use wraps all the time. So I'm just talking about wraps in general. But if you're doing a lot of grip strengthening and you're targeting your grip strength a lot, when you're doing a back exercise like a row, I'll use my leather wraps and wrap around the dumbbell because I don't want to focus on my grip strength in that exercise. I want to focus on my lats. I want to focus on my rhomboids, my traps. I want to focus on the muscles that are going to be executing. I do plenty of grip strength with clubs and things like that. I don't need to, so you want to make sure what you're training is focusing on the area that you're training. So as long as you're strengthening your grip in all different types of training, you don't need to, your grip strength is always going to be the weakest link when it comes to your rows, for example. So when you're doing rows, make sure you're working the muscles that you're trying to work. Just don't neglect your grip strength in other things. Doesn't mean you can't use just your grip when you're doing the exercise, but you don't want that to be the weakest link. Yeah, we got some.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Raw goat milk is great. Yeah, in Ohio, go to the Amish. They're all over Ohio. Yeah, just be careful. Be mindful of the toxic spills in Ohio. That definitely is going to compromise a large area when it comes to grass-fed and yikes, right? Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful in that area. Mackenzie, what's your grip strength tips for women? I find that I can often lift heavier weights strength-wise, but it's we just talked about that. I would recommend any time of forearm, like you can get those little grippers. You can, make sure you're doing your extensors too. Get a Therabar. Therabars are fantastic. I would get into club swinging, get like a 2-3 pound club and work your way up to like a 5 pound club. That's great for grip strength. Any kind of Indian club, steel club, mace is great for grip strength. Jesus Christ. Daniel Gregory Pappas. This got out of hand fast. This escalated quickly. Do you think the majority of Hollywood and celebrities have satanic beliefs and sell their souls? The majority? Probably not the majority. Selling your soul is a different concept. I mean, I think if you're living in that virtue signaling bubble, you're selling your integrity. Like for sure, you're selling. It depends on how you define selling your soul. Like, are you signing a contract? Like, devil went down to Georgia. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to sign this binding agreement. But yeah, if you're just, when you're a part of Hollywood and your career depends on towing the line and only saying what thing people want you, that's why it's an echo chamber. That's why all these fucking celebrities are completely just spewing out the most nonsensical garbage, is because they have to. Whenever they say stuff like that, that's just completely disconnected from reality. It's because everyone's listening. It's because directors and producers and all their coworkers are listening to that. So they're saying it for other people, not necessarily because they actually believe it. Most of them don't have any beliefs. They'll just say whatever they need to make sure they keep getting roles. But then some people that have been around for so long, that have enough money, they don't need it, and they can speak up. And sometimes you're a big enough of a celebrity that you can say whatever you want, and your skill and your talents kind of supersede that kind of narrative. Like you can say what you want and get away with it because you're too big to be canceled, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So if you built your career on saying controversial stuff, you can kind of get away with saying controversial stuff in some extents, in some situations. Depends. You got to play the game. And all right. Let's see. Freddie, correct me if I'm wrong, but tendons require higher repetitions to train sufficiently, and their strength lasts longer than muscular strength if you, for whatever reason, stop training them. They're more dense connective tissue, attaches muscle to bone. Same thing with ligaments. They don't get the same type of blood flow as the muscle bellies, so tendons and ligaments take longer to hypertrophy and longer to strengthen, longer to thicken. So yeah, they will have... it takes longer for them to train. It takes longer for them to hypertrophy and to atrophy. Okay, let's see. Yes, Papa Swolio, for everyone, look up Captains of Crush or the hand grippers for a really good hand gripper. Yep. I have ones that go up to like 300 or 350 or whatever like that. So I don't necessarily do all like the super heavy ones, but I'll take like the 100 or 150 pound ones, whatever. I just do more reps. I do them like standard. I flip them upside down. You get different fingers. It's a great thing and I pair it off. Like if I'm outside or if I'm reading or if I'm listening to something, I'll just do it, just do a little bit, just do little sets more frequently, and just start with very light. Start very light and do it more frequently, interspersed. It just needs exposure to it. Thing is, if you start getting this grip strength stuff and you start getting all these tools and you're like, oh, you get so excited and you do it like crazy, you're going to get sore, you're going to get tendonitis, or your fingers are going to ache, or your elbow's going to hurt because you overdid it. You just get excited and do too much. So don't do too much. Same thing with the clubs. You just get excited and fucking overdo it. And then you're going to have tendonitis and you're going to spend a couple weeks or months trying to heal yourself. So don't injure yourself. Got it? Frank Joe Rogan calls it fuck you money. Yeah. I mean, well, that's an extreme level, like Elon Musk type stuff, but you can get, quote, canceled by different things. It depends on who's paying the bills. So can you get like everyone can be, but some people what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So for example, this show, if YouTube or whatever stops allowing the stream or cancels, like we're still going to get the same amount of people watching and listening. They're just going to go to a different platform because people that watch and listen to the show are people that know where to find it and know where to look for it. So it's not like it's going to make a difference. So it depends. It depends. That's why it's important, in my opinion. Say what you want and do it from the beginning. I've always been saying what I thought and whatever I felt like saying. So everyone that's here is here because of that reason. So, I mean, in terms of cans, like, what are you going to do? Oh my God, Papa Swolio said, like, yeah, I said some ridiculous stuff. I've said a lot of stuff that I probably don't even really believe. I say things that I feel like saying because I feel like saying them. And it's a lot of fun. As long as you go to the fucking gym, it's all good. Makes up for everything. All right, let's see. A couple more questions. We're rolling. Jesus Christ. Turtharaj Mujkerji. Fucking awesome name. From South Jersey. How to eat healthy without damaging the pocket. Make better choices. So I'm going to talk about tough love. How to eat healthy without damaging the pocket. Look, money, things cost money. Money is stored human energy. So you need to use that money wisely. Can you use, if you have $20 to buy food, you can go to McDonald's or you can go to a store. So eating healthy just means better choices. If you make a choice to do something, that's a choice. If you make a choice to, if you don't go to the fucking gym, people act like that's not a choice. That's a choice to not go to the fucking gym. So if you're not training, you're making an active choice to not train. If you want to eat healthier, you need to make a better choice. Is it better to eat grain, like just beef, like grain-fed beef? Okay, fine. It's $3 a pound or $4 a pound. Let's say you don't want to spend or you can't afford for whatever. $8 a pound for the grass-fed, grass-finished. Okay, that's a better choice than going and buying the Lay's potato chips or the Tostitos family size bag for $6, right? So just make better choices. I would focus on getting the highest quality you can from the protein sources and then adding fruit, like meat and fruit. It's not that expensive. It really isn't that expensive because you're getting nutrient-dense food. People exaggerate and they make it seem like healthy food is so fucking expensive. It's really not. You're buying a lot of processed garbage that they're marking up 10,000% for a profit, and it doesn't give you nutritional value. So you're spending hundreds of dollars on shit fucking food, and you're not getting proper nutrition. That's the problem. Tirtharaj Mukherjee. Gotcha. Right? So a pound of so you will spend, let's say, how much is a pound of grain-fed beef? Does anyone know? What prices are people seeing? Not the grass-fed beef, but just like beef. So you have to do the math differently. People are looking at this kind of thing with a different perspective, right? What sacrifices, people don't like making sacrifices short-term for long-term benefits. So you might be making some short-term, putting yourself through, okay, doing a weight training workout is short-term pain, right? We all like the pain now. I'm not so, to be like, well, I like it. I know we like the outcome, but it's uncomfortable. Do we want to do it? Not necessarily. So short-term discomfort, long-term benefit. A lot of people want the short-term benefit. Like, I want to do what I want to do now. I want to eat this because it feels good now. I want to watch this because I feel right. and not train because I don't want to be uncomfortable. And they're setting themselves up for a lifetime of diabetes, heart disease, weakness, joint pain, blah, blah. Short-term discomfort, short-term like this kind of current discomfort or inconvenience for long-term benefit. That's why most people have issues with finances, with health, with everything, because it's instant gratification. People want things now at the sacrifice of their long-term benefit. So grain-fed, Jessica says about $4 a pound. I'm sure that's going to fluctuate. So some people might say, no, it's not. Okay, so Jessica says you can get grass-fed ground beef at Walmart for $5. It's not grass-finished. So I know it's a little bit cheaper. So grass-fed doesn't mean grain-finished. Most beef is probably grass-fed and grain-finished. Some is more than others ratios. So, okay, let's say whatever. Let's say $5 or $6. Okay, you're going to spend $20 at fast food easily. So let's say you have a family. Okay, but you can get 3 pounds of beef or 3 or 4 pounds of beef for the same price. That's a lot of meat with nutrient-dense food, without the vegetable oils, without the processed sugar, without the soda and the literal trash you're putting in your body, and all the carcinogenics from the fried vegetable oils and things like that. So you're definitely getting more value. It doesn't seem like as much because you're getting 3 packs of ground, like you can hold like this. Oh, 3 packs of ground beef versus look at these bags of all this, like potato chips and soda and blah, blah, blah. You're getting more nutrient dense food. So people look at that and think, oh, I have to, it's not as much. Visually, it's not as much. And they have to put in a little bit extra work, cooking it. Cooking ground beef is the simplest fucking thing on earth. Just slap on the pan, flip it a few times, then break it up in nice big chunks, stays juicy. It's fantastic. And it's more satisfying too. And that's the thing. So that muscle weighs more than fat. So if you have 3 pounds of muscle and 3 pounds of fat, they weigh the same, okay? Which one weighs more, 3 pounds of muscle or 3 pounds of fat? They both weigh 3 pounds. But fat is going to take up more volume. So let's say, just for exaggeration's sake, this is 3 pounds of fat. It's not, but this is 3 pounds of fat. This is 3 pounds of muscle. So if let's just say, so the same concept goes for eating the nutrient dense food. 3 pounds of ground beef as one person in a sitting. Sure, you might be able to eat more than one, but you'll be satisfied on a pound of beef. Like if you're a dude and you're eating 16 ounce, like that's a lot of meat. Could you eat more? Could you eat less? Fine. But give or take, that's for one person. And you can split that up. Like that's a lot of food. That's a lot of food. It's a lot of nutrient dense food. And if it's one person, you go to fast food, you might be spending $15-20 plus for one person. You're getting a few pounds of ground beef. That's several meals. In other words, you can make better choices. So everyone's situation is different, but you have to break down, okay, how much do you have to spend really? What else are you spending? If you're struggling to buy quality food, but you still have a Netflix account, you're not doing as good as you can be. You shouldn't be spending $14 a month on Netflix because that can give you, if it's $14 a month and you're really pinching pennies, $14 a month, like maybe you should, learn some other skills, learn how to video edit online, do an hour of like YouTube studying. In other words, do something to improve your earning capacity. That's number one. But also, if you have, let's say it's $20 a month and you're really tight, well, $20 a month for a Netflix or some kind of subscription, that's $5 a week. That's a big difference if everything matters. So $5 a week, that could be an extra pound of beef. That could be an extra 2 days of food. So just keep some perspective. All right, we'll wrap up. We only got we're about done. I'm not doing any more Instagram questions. I'm gonna punch myself in the fucking dick if I read another Instagram question. All right, let's see. Daniel, we had a snowstorm the other day and all the cocksuckers ravaged the grass-fed beef, so I had to get grain-fed. Those goddamn...
Great Scott!
Goddamn people sucking cock. Jesus. What time zone am I in? Eastern. Eastern United States. All right. Let's see. Tainty Man? Let's see a little Tainty Man. Very nice. We don't have any church today, but we do have the Tainty Boy. All right, we're good? We're good. All right, let's get the Swole card. We're giving it away. Remember, fam, join us, swolenormousx.com. Let me remind you before we give away the Swole card, if you want to call in to the show, we'll get some more questions going on Tuesday. AskPapaSwolio.com. Call in, and we'll get to your questions in Tuesday's episode. Tomorrow's episode is private for members only. Don't. Why would you boo? Why would you boo? Most of you are members. If you're not a member, join us, swolenormousx.com, and you'll be there for tomorrow's live call. We got new releases. We'll be launching some new shit, and it's going to be fucking fire. So tomorrow, 12 noon, and we'll have some Swolosophy here on the audio cast, but make sure you're there for tomorrow's call, and it will be absolutely fucking fire. It's going to be awesome. We do a private member Q&A. We have some people coming up on stage asking a question, live chat. It's cool. It's cool. Plug in. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. I know you're in Florida. Goddamn right. I'm in Florida. Flor-America. Make America Florida. I need to be in the warmth. I need to be in the warmth. I have to be in the warmth. I have to be roasting my nips. I can't wait. Today it's a little bit overcast. It looks like it might rain a little bit. We need rain. We need rain bad. But I don't want it to rain. I just like the sun. So today is a little bit of an overcast day, but it's nice. Papa Swolio, 2 days in a row. What's wrong with church? No, she wasn't here yesterday. I thought she was. Do we have church on the Mancast yesterday? Maybe not. Oh, what's wrong? No, nothing's wrong with church. If she's ever not here, it's because Mama Swolio's home. So if Mama Swolio's home, a lot of times she'll be out there on her lap or hanging out with her. But if she's at work or she's out doing something, and sometimes when she's home, she'll be in here with me. But if she's ever not here, it's because she's out there. I wouldn't leave her in her room, in her cage. So that's the only reason why she wouldn't be like actually here. Florida's the shit. Make America Florida or South Dakota. Do not make America South Dakota, please. I do not want that kind of temperature. I don't want that kind of cold. I know what you mean, but yeah. I need the heat, man. I need the heat. I love the mountains. I love the mountains and stuff. I love the mountains. I love elevation. I kind of miss that. Hiking and stuff like that. But it's okay. I'm fine relegating that to like visits or trips and things like that for warm temperatures every day. Give it to me. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Let's see. Carson, I might remember wrong. I usually watch the live and I'll watch an older video later. Yeah, I forget yesterday, but on Friday, on the overtime, because I usually show off church in the overtime segments. So, yeah, I don't remember what happened yesterday. I certainly don't remember what happened yesterday in terms of the podcast. So, it's a blur. Every episode's a blur. After 2,508, you can understand why. It's like last week might as well have been a year ago. I mean, would you rather make America Ohio? No, I would not. No, I would not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Good Lord. Good Lord. I would not want to. No. 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 No.
Come on, man.
Yeah. No. No.
Shut up, bitch!
Make America Pennsylvania. No, we like our senators alive. We like them to have pulses. Thank you very much. Yeah, yes. My God. Tough crowd. All right. Sheesh. Everyone's just going off the rails. Fam, what's wrong with the live chat? What's wrong? What's going on? Bookworm LMA. Make America Albany, New York. Jesus Christ.
Matt Damon.
How you guys feeling? You all right? We okay? This live stream is degrading quickly. Let's get with this Swole card before someone else says something. Here we go. Drum roll. Falcon, take us away. My goodness. God damn. She. All right. Well, speaking of Swole privilege, I think she absolutely has it. Glenna Kraft, congratulations. Hello. Make America 1950 again. All right. Congratulations, Jenna. You are the winner of today's Sleazecast. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 2508 in the subject, your mailing address, and the body of the email. Congratulaciones. Ew. We will take, just a joke. I get you. I know, I'm just trolling the fam. Drop in the comments down below if you want a soundboard.
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
A little It's a Wonderful Life reference. Hot dog. All right. Glenna, we'll take a soundboard. What you got? Let's see, Glenna, what you got? We'll take a request.
Are there any women here today?
Tyrannical Tuck. Good choice. Good fucking choice. Very nice.
There's Tiny Tuck, Typical Tuck, Total Tuck, and the Tyrannical Tuck.
Tyrannical Tuck, please. I love this. I love the scream.
What's in the box?
I love it. I love it. You guys are lunatics. I love it. We'll take some more. Drop in the chat. Drop in.
Fucking people.
Ooh, Hobo's Dick Cheese. Nice selection.
How about I send you a Hobo's Dick Cheese?
Good one, Cerny. Little Hank Hill.
Well, I'll be damned.
Carson, after those horrible suggestions, how about a little America for the ear muscles? I got you.
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
God damn it, I don't know what it is about your face, but I want to deliver one of these right in your suckhole.
Is there anything I can do to work on that?
No, not really, it's your face.
I'm quick with it. I'm quick with it.
As you can see, my nipples have been removed from my body. Where they are, I don't know.
It's not even a challenge, fam. It's not even a challenge.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Oh, baby.
I fart in your general direction!
No medication except my fucking antidepressants.
Boys have a penis, girls have vagina.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I arrive in America's airport with clothing, US dollars, and a jar of gypsy tears to protect me from AIDS.
Coast to coast. Ooh, nailed it. Very
We
nice.
hold these truths to be
Very
self-evident.
nice.
All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
Okay, fam, thanks for being here. Hold on. Let's see. Frank, got any Joy Behar? Yeah, I got one right here.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Aha. Very nice. Okay, fam, tomorrow, 2509, accountability meeting at 12 noon Eastern time, March 20th, tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then, and we'll be back here for the public stream on Tuesday. Join us, swolenormousx.com. Go join the fam and be there tomorrow at noon. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Glenna. Congratulations and great questions today. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace, McGee, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they can't left and they so mad, it's
I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint. We go hard in the paint. Yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. Our topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits.